Jerry B's, shut the fuck up. Just play the song. We don't care about what you have to say. We've never cared about what you have to say. We care about your mustache. We care about the music that you're listening to. That is it. Can I get some affirmation, please? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry B's, and we are back on our long journey through Lana Del Rey's albums. I know it's been quite a while since the last time we reacted to Chemtrails Over the Country Club, but we continued the journey nonetheless, and I am very excited today as we are reacting to Blue Banisters. You know, I don't know what to think about Lana Del Rey anymore. You know, when I began the journey, I knew that there was a lot of Lana Del Rey I hadn't listened to, and some of it I was like, wow, like I had no idea it was like that. But I knew that it was all about Norman fucking Rockwell. That was great, right? We all know. Hey, news headline, Norman fucking Rockwell, good album, right? Nothing controversial there. However, I was kind of expecting to go, Chemtrails, man, it's not going to be that great. I was thoroughly invested in that album, as I have, I think, largely for a lot of Lana Del Rey's albums, but I was very quite impressed with a follow-up to what is often regarded as her best album. So I don't know where that leaves Blue Banisters going into this reaction. What are we gonna see? What are we gonna see? I don't know what we're gonna see. I don't know who produced this shit because I'm not listening to it on Spotify anymore. If you've been following the channel, I did just drop a video kind of explaining why I'm not using Spotify anymore and some advice for you if you are also thinking about leaving Spotify or just music streaming in general. I think there's a lot that you can get out of not streaming your music, but you do you. All of that to say that it's going to look a little bit different here, what you're looking at on the screen from here on. So I don't necessarily have the who composed each track. I don't have those little contextual bitty bits that Spotify is actually pretty good at giving. As you can probably tell, we are streaming this, but if you happen to miss a stream and want to see the whole reaction stream, uncut, unedited, before it comes out on YouTube, go ahead and check out my Patreon. You can get exactly that for just $1. And as I'm making other kinds of commentary videos, those will be up on Patreon before they come out on YouTube as well. Some hits, some flops, to be honest, and moments where she desperately should have recorded another take. Wait, really? In the chat here, we're getting some iffy takes on the vocals. The vocals might be a little bit iffy. We will see about that. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Banisters by Lana Del Rey, an hour and 1 minute long.
I guess you could call it textbook. I was looking for the father I wanted back, and I thought I found it in Brentwood. It's you already had. You got a Thunderbird, my daddy had one too. Let's rewrite his story. I'll do this dance with you. You know I'm not that girl. You know I'll never be. And I saw you saw who I am.
Timing's throwing me off.
God, I wish I was with my father. He could see us in all our splendor. All the things I couldn't want for him. I screamed for them. I scream for them. I never felt jealous before this year, but I'm jealous now. People say we're too much alike, but maybe finally that'll make it right at the end of all these sleepless nights. You got a Thunderbird, my daddy had one too. Let's rewrite his story. I'll do this dance with you. You know I'm not that girl. You know I'll never be. Maybe just the way we're different could set me free. Everywhere
And there we have the album's first track, Textbook. I thought there weren't going to be lyrics at first, but the lyrics just hadn't loaded in when I tested this out before. I am using Strawberry Music Player. That's besides the point. Whatever. I do have the lyrics up on my end, and I don't know, like, obviously Lana's got a thing for, like, whether it's an older dude or a man of influence, whether or not she's got a little bit more sub than dom in her, whatever, right? That's Lana's bag. There is, like, daddy issues, whether it's like you're seeing aspects in a man that, like, relate to your dad that you also kind of want. I'm just saying that because I don't know if that point has been as apparent as it is in this song. You've got a Thunderbird. My daddy had one too. Let's rewrite history. I'll do this dance with you. So maybe doing things that she didn't get the opportunity to do with her dad. And then we're talking about Black Lives Matter, which is like, I don't know if that's like dating this song, but like, no, this would have been like since 2020, right? This was like 2022 or something like that. Textbook's case of daddy issues. Yeah. And again, we have tipped our toes into this line of thinking before, but this one's very apparent. And I say tip our toes when we got Lana's feet for free here on the album cover, with two cute old doggos there. Check that out. Aren't they adorable? Really, the key takeaway in this song is the chorus. You know, it starts with "You've got a Thunderbird." For the majority of the chorus, she's keeping a consistent timing with her vocals in the delivery, in the cadence. It's not till you get to the end where I scream for them, oh, 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 where she's slowing her vocals down with the beat, because the beat is changing underneath her and getting slower and slower and slower. And I saw somebody here in the chat that says, I can't express how passionately I hate this chorus. It is not a traditional chorus in the sense of that it, I guess, keeps time, keeps consistent timing, I should say, because it keeps timing. I mean, it sounded pretty similar between both of the choruses there. You know, and I do like Lana's appeal to like old kind of like country western kinds of sounds where you just have like a snare and then some bells, or whether it's just like a hi-hat or something like that. Just like this, I'm walking into a saloon, but I got Prada on energy. Does that make sense? Am I currently clocking Lana Del Rey accurately? Walking into a saloon with Prada on. I feel like that sums up a lot of her music. Yes, Prada and a big gulp from 7-Eleven. Yeah, just swinging the door open. It's Lana, bitches. Get ready. So, you know, it's not the grooviest thing in the world, but considering like the odd timing with the chorus, my interest is piqued. Will that continue here with the titular track, Blue Banisters?
There's a picture on the wall of me on a John Deere. Jenny handed me a beer, said, how the hell did you get there? Oklahoma. Be happy too, you can blacken the pages with Russian poetry and be happy. And that scared me, 'cause I met a man who said he'd come back every May just to help me if I paint my banisters blue. 'Cause there's a man that's in my past, there's a man that's still right here. He's real enough to touch, and in my darkest nights he's shining. Jenny was smoking by the pool. We were riding with Nikki Lane. I said, I'm scared of the Santa Clarita fires. I wish that it would rain. I said the power of us three could bring absolutely anything except that one thing. The diamonds, the rust, and the rain. Chickens running bare feet, there's a baby on the way. And now my blue banisters are green and gray.
Hello, piano. Thank you for coming.
Summer comes, winter goes, spring I skip, God knows. Summer comes, winter goes, spring.
So, like I said at the top of the video, we had some people possibly making some very questionable comments about maybe some of the vocals on this album and how they were delivered. And I think we saw some of that here in that first verse, especially she was swimming with Nikki Lane around that point. But I'm a keep it a buck with you. Her vocals on this were fantastic. I mean, she's going a lot of different places. She's very melodic, and then she's doing like the whisper singing where she's just barely getting it out. And I like how she does that. She does it kind of like to keep herself, maybe like gives herself like this dainty image. You know, we were just talking about it, right? You know, maybe she's got a little bit more sub in her than dom or something like that. So maybe it's an extension of that, but it also works as a way to kind of build tension as well. If you're reading along to the lyrics like I am, I thought the composition was entirely too simple for Lana's vocals to not be at the forefront of this, and I don't think that she missed. Lyrically, I think this is just kind of another like maybe ode to friends thing, but also I don't know necessarily how to interpret the colors going on where it's saying my blue banister's gray, my banister's green, you know, and because like towards the end of the song, and actually really the whole song, Jenny, Nikki Lane, whatever, right? Whether or not she's with those people in company or not, maybe how you can get different perspectives from people. Whereas if I'm left to my own devices, I paint my banisters blue, but maybe I talk about my situation with my friends, with my cohorts, with my council, and they go, no, bitch, that's gray. Right? I don't know. Am I missing the entire point of this? We need more Jerry Lana covers. This album and Chemtrails should have been the most personal albums of hers, but she got criticized for something, I don't remember what. Then she released Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. I like the titular track here. Blue Banisters works for me. We'll see where else this goes sonically. You know, I know Lana doesn't really move too far away in either direction in terms of how things are composed. So we'll see what Arcadia has in store for us.
My body is a map of LA. I stand straight like an angel with a halo, hanging out the Hilton Hotel window, screaming, hey, run your hands over me like a Land Rover in Arcadia, Arcadia. All roads that lead to you as integral to me as arteries that pump the blood that flows straight to the heart of me, America.
Yeah, America, let's go. That string section in the back, just quiet enough just loud enough to hear it.
It's a map of LA, and my heart is like paper. I hate you. I'm not from the land of the palm, so I know I can't stay here. I'm not native, but you're a Land Rover in Arcadia. Arcadia. All roads that lead to you as integral to me as arteries that get the blood flowing straight to the heart of me, America. They built me up 300 feet tall just to tear me down, so I'm leaving with nothing but laughter in this town, Arcadia, finding my way to
Now the
you. I'm
horns.
leaving them as I was, 5'8" Western America.
Resolve. Ah, there we go. Yes. All right. So, in a lot of the changes that have happened here on the channel, I do not have a soundboard anymore. That's a technical issue on my part. But yeah, this one gets an air horn. This one gets a good shit. Wait, hold on. Can I here? Soundboard overload here. Soundboard overload for sure. So I've really been liking the songwriting in each of the 3 songs that we've heard so far. But this one met production so well. But first with the songwriting, right? My body is a map of L.A., my chest, the Sierra Madre, my hips, every high and byway that you trace your fingertips like a Toyota, run your hands over me like a Land Rover. First of all, the only negative criticism I have in this song, she totally should have delivered that line. Trace your fingertips like a Toyota. Run your hands over me like a Land Rover. That would have sold it for me. But here, even in that, she's making the point, right? Trace your fingertips like a Toyota. Maybe something a little bit more comfortable. Some a little bit more practical, maybe a little bit more delicate. Like, I don't need too much. I just need a quick little A to B reliable car. Run your hands over me like a Land Rover. Oh. Some bumpy terrain, perhaps. We're in for a rougher ride. And given that it's Lana Del Rey, I think you can kind of insinuate some of the suggestions there. But also this idea of all the roads that lead to you as integral to me as arteries, that blood, that pump the blood that flows straight to the heart of me, America, America. I like what she's doing here a lot. So America, she's Americana lady. The idea of the road trip is a very American one, I think. And so kind of saying like all these roads are like arteries to my heart. There's so many ways in that you could take. And I think that's saying more so of Lana's affinity for this person, or maybe just as anybody. Maybe she's just saying that there's a lot of ways into my heart, just as there's a lot of ways to go wherever you want to in America, America. Now, production-wise, her vocals are sitting at the very top. That's not very different from everything else that we've heard. But I like how just barely fucking audible the strings and horns are in this song. Just enough to be noticeable, just enough to really complement her voice between everything else that's happening. And there's not a lot happening beyond her voice. This is so far like if you know Lana, if you love Lana, you know what she's about. This is just to get her ideas across so far. That's what I'm really getting from these first 3 tracks. This is feeling a little bit more like this is what I wrote in my journal at 3 a.m. I need to get this out here. Let's record. We can do whatever the fuck later. right? Whatever little elements. I just need this out here right now. No, in terms of songwriting, in terms of production, this one was tight. This one was really tight. Anyway, we're moving on here. We got Interlude, the trio. What? What is this? I was going to say how I really appreciate how Lana's keeping in time with the country western thing, spaghetti western, really. That was given a Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Man with No Name, Fistful of Dollars. And then the trap beat dropped. You can't put this lady in a box. I don't think there's a pigeonhole she's ever found that she enjoyed. We're moving on. Black Bathing Suit.
Grenadine, quarantine, I like you alive. It's LA on Zoom, Target parking lot.
Oh God, is this a COVID song?
And if this is the end, I want a boyfriend, someone to eat ice cream with. 'Cause my body is my temple, my heart is one too. The only thing that still fits me is this black bathing suit. You don't know me any better than they do. Cause you said I was bad, let me show you how bad girls do.
Weird timing, let's go.
Cause no one does it better. You said I was bad, let me show you how bad girls do. Cause no one does it better. Swisher sweet magazines, promise you it's not hard. And what I never said, well, there's a price on my head. It's nothing to do with them. It's my karmic lineage. So I'm not friends with my mother. Well, I still love my dad. But you don't know me any better than they do, baby. 'Cause I sing like an angel, my heart's like one too. The only thing that fits is this black bathing suit. Looking at me, looking over at you, real cute. 'Cause no one does it better. They said I was bad and I'll show them what bad girls do. My black bathing suit. Go on, let them talk about me. They're just yesterday's news. They're fucking broke and we're laughing about it. Mail me when you get the blues.
All right, and that was Black Bathing Suit. And I like this one again. Still keeping the songwriting real as fuck. Kind of lost me. I don't know. Maybe it's like a me problem, but like when I can pinpoint like exactly when you wrote this, it's like a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's like, okay, we can see that, we can look at somebody's thought processes and how they wanted to express themselves at a point in time, or they're looking back at a certain point in their life that, you know, you can make certain references to something and say like, oh, this is when this happened because this was like a cultural event, and you'll all pick up on it. Grenadine Quarantine, I Like You a Lot. It's LA. Hey on Zoom, Target parking lot. This is COVID. People did soul searching and made a lot of sourdough and all that crap, right? We understand that aspect of this. Although I like this idea, the double meanings of words and metaphors, which she's always had a pretty strong knack for. But I feel like it's like hyper focused in this album, not so much as Arcadia, but here, the only thing that fits me is this black bathing suit. So I think black bathing suit, whether or not that she was talking about a literal black bathing suit that fits her, maybe you're the black sheep, right? You don't really fit in. So that double meaning of fit, where maybe you're feeling kind of lost, but then, maybe you put on a flattering bathing suit and you feel good about yourself, and I think that's kind of referenced here. They're fucking broken. We're laughing about them. So like maybe Lana just needed a win, right? She needed to feel good about herself. And we had some people in the chat talking about how maybe around this time people on Twitter were making fun about her weight. That's that. I'm not here to speak on that. I'm here to look at the end result of this, and I'm still getting all that good nitty gritty Lana Del Rey songwriting. I'm not friends with my mother, but still love my dad. Unconditional lover. Can you handle that? I don't know if I can. just like from like the first song, we're talking about her daddy issues, or maybe there is, right? It's just what it was kind of giving. You let me know. But like if nothing else, you can say like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, but like that doesn't change the fact that people think that way. Now, whether or not she's got fantasies about her dad, that's not exactly what I'm saying. But like seeing Still Love My Dad, Unconditional Lover, can you handle that? Might put images into my mind, your mind, somebody else's mind, right? And I like that Lana isn't afraid to express herself in the way that she sees fit. And that's cool because you can look at that and go like, okay, so obviously, if you don't mind expressing yourself in a way that you see fit, right? Maybe you're really chaotic. Maybe you just kind of go off the walls and it's very outsider art. And that's not what I see Lana as. I think she uses maybe some of these slower songs, these more traditional orchestral compositions, right? Or maybe old country western stuff to kind of lure you in. And then from there, you can look at the songwriting, make your own judgments from there. And I think that's where she really thrives. Making music that kind of like I think about, let's take this is like a really shot in the dark thing here, but like there's this like grindcore band called The Lotus that like a lot of people love. I'm not necessarily for it. It's not my daily driver. But it's just like very fast and like screaming and they all got like these masks on stage and it doesn't sound like nice at all, but people like fucking love that shit. But part of that whole aesthetic is like, we want to make sure that we look like the outsiders, that we do not conform. And it has its roots in punk, right? So I understand that and I fuck with it. Lana's kind of the opposite, where it is pretty inviting, or at least it doesn't sound scary. It doesn't sound like, oh, this isn't really the right vibe for this music-wise. But then you get into some of her songwriting, and then that's where the ideas come out. And I think that's very apparent in this song. Did that make sense? Am I blabbering? Jerry B's, shut the fuck up. Just play the song. We don't care about what you have to say. We've never cared about what you have to say. We care about your mustache. We care about the music that you're listening to. That is it. Can I get some affirmation, please? Anyway, we move on here. This is If You Lie Down With Me.
Put your red boots on, baby, giddy up. Baby wants to dance, baby gets away. When we both know that you ain't. say you're over me. Baby, it's already too late. Just do what you do best with me. Dance me all around the room. Thought I would meet, so don't say you're over me when we both know that you lie. If you lie down, lie next to me. Lie, 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 lie. If you lie down, lie next to me. Lie, 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 lie. You were built for the long haul freight train, burned by fire without trial like a stowaway. And don't say you're over me. Spin me like a ballerina super high. Dance me all around the moon, like 6 times till I'm sick and I cry. Once, twice, 3 times the guy I ever thought I would meet, so don't lie when you lie down, lie next to me.
Is Jack Antonoff on this? Is that you, Jack? Okay, so songwriting wise, this is probably the most straightforward one. It's just come and do some come and do a little sucking and fucking, basically. That's what I got. Or just dancing, Jerry B's. It doesn't always have to be about sex. It could just literally be about dancing and lying down and taking a nap. If that is the case, then fine. I would just like to say that we're kind of continuing with these double entendres, these like double meanings, metaphors, however you want to put them, saying like, oh, I'm over you, I'm over you, but I'm lying, right? So come lie down next to me. This actually reminds me of another great song that I love that uses like this exact idea, The Liars Club by Coheed and Cambria, off of, I believe it's their most recent album. I could be wrong. I don't know if they've released one since. Actually, they're kind of later in their careers, and they dropped that one, and it's a fucking banger too. It's one of my favorite songs of theirs. This whole idea of saying lying, but the other meaning of lie down, right? So yeah, I like that, and it was it was fine compositionally, but then we get the outro of just the horns. And that the production's starting to come back to me. So, I said earlier how I liked how the horns were just barely audible. Here, the horns were a little bit higher up in the mix, but then we had lower horns, lower in terms of volume, underneath them, and then those come up towards the end, and Jack Antonoff isn't on here to ruin them. It's incredible what you can do when Jack Antonoff has no business with your record. Oh, and for that and that alone. The chat tells me we must make a shout out to Drew Erickson in the control room for this one. A job well done, sir. Job well done. He a long boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Beautiful.
Let's keep it simple, babe. Don't make it complicated. Don't tell me to be glad when I'm sad. I really hate that. I try not to be bad. What if someone had asked, caused them not to be sad? Never known who he was or the man he'd become. There would be no blue period. Let me run with the wolves. Let me do what I'll do. Let me show you how sadness can turn into happiness. I can turn blue into something beautiful, beautiful, beautiful like you. I try not to hold back. then I'll take you back. What if someone had asked Picasso not to be sad? Never known who he was or the man he'd become. There would be no blue period. Let me run with the wolves. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful like you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful like you.
Dude, what the fuck? So the song sounded very pretty, dare I say beautiful. I kept having to change the volume down on my end so it can stay the same volume for you guys, but it's lower for me because her vocals kept peaking and they were peaking in my headphones. So, and I could hear the distortion. So I tried to turn it down. I turned it down almost all the way, which I've never done for any other song. We've listened to probably about 1,000 fucking songs or close to on this channel collectively, probably well over that. And I've never had to turn it down so much to where it wouldn't peak and they were still peaking. So this was probably obviously something like when they were producing it where the vocals are just so fucking loud and they kept that distortion in. I am not a sound engineer nor a producer. So if you are, please let me know how that is able to be achieved. But maybe this is part of how people were saying like they didn't really fuck with the vocals or the vocals might be a little bit weird on this album. Vocals are fine. Her voice is fine. It's how it was produced, which let's use that in our analysis of the song here. So really she's just getting to the point of like, well, you know, it's okay to be sad because if Picasso wasn't sad, we wouldn't have had the blue period, all these amazing iconic pieces from Picasso, and you could turn that into something good and into something beautiful. Maybe like, yes, her voice sounds beautiful, but maybe someone else down the line can make it flawed in the sense of how I'm listening to it, you know? So I can't necessarily say that like that wasn't intentional and that didn't have something to do with the song here. It makes me like the song a little bit more than I already do. So that's what I'm going to say. If you tell me that I'm wrong, there's a little button that you can probably see if you're watching the video on YouTube, and it's the thumbs down button. Don't click that. Click the like button instead. Subscribe maybe. Wow, Jerry's stealing my review. Hey, look, it wasn't copyrighted, and I should know about copyright. It's why I have like 2 million total views on YouTube with like no money to show for it. Violets for Roses.
There's something in the air. The girls are running around in summer dresses with their masks off, and it makes me so happy. Larchmont Village smells like lilies of the valley, and the bookstore doors are opening, and it's finally happening. You made me trade my violets for roses. You tried to trade in my new truck for roses. Don't forget all of these things that you love are the same things I hate. Trying to make a woman change and trade her violets for roses. Trade her violets for roses. There's something in the air. I hope it doesn't change, that it's for real. The beginning of something big happening. And by the mare, the rallies in the streets have ceased, and still the shadows haunt the avenue. The silence is deafening. You made me trade my violets for roses. You tried to trade in my new truck for roses. Don't forget all of these things that you love are the same things I hate. It's trying to make a woman change and trade her violets for roses. Trade her violets for roses. There's something in the air. The girls are running around in summer dresses with their masks off, and it makes me so happy.
So we're in the midst of COVID, and we got people sucking on toes. That's what I'm getting here. Try to take all the pink off my toes. Which also phenomenal way to try to rhyme roses with toeses. I guess you don't really even need to try to rhyme it. I guess I was hearing mitosis in there, so roses and toeses. Although you should just say toes. Anyway, I liked this one. I did. I know I kind of rolled my eyes and said, like, God, is this another COVID one? I don't know. Maybe it's a me problem. Maybe I don't want to think back to that time. I just can't help but like think about COVID and like people making COVID songs and it just being like all just so performative. But that's not like the point here, you know? Like I like Anderson .Paak made a good COVID song. His song Lockdown, that's the good one. I don't know if there's another good COVID song that I actually enjoy. But nonetheless, I like this extension of the theming. So we've talked about Blue Banisters in Beautiful. We're talking about Picasso's Blue Period. And she's always mentioned colors, but I think it goes into this quite well. You made me trade my violets for roses. Violets are blue, roses are red. Roses are red, violets are blue. It's COVID. Let me suck your toes. That's what I'm getting out of this one. So I'm still enjoying some of the songwriting here. And you know, maybe I'm being a little too harsh on the COVID aspect of it. Because you know, that was something really refreshing. You know, even around that time. You know, girls are running around in summer dresses with their masks off. Makes me so happy. I think that once the weather got nice around COVID, because it started like lockdown started like late February, early March, somewhere around there, mid-March. Like once the weather started to get nice, people were out biking and all that. You could kind of go back to what it was like before. So that's just to say that if you're feeling down, you know, you look at other people having a good time, you go, oh yeah, no, I love that. God knows the only mistake a man can make is trying to make a woman change and trade her violets for roses. Again, I think that's an extension of what we heard in Beautiful, you know, just this idea of like, oh, don't be sad. You can't be sad. Like, oh no, you can find beauty in this shit. Although I think here she kind of contradicts herself a little bit because she's seeing the good things in people being happy in their sundresses and all. I don't, or no, maybe this is her coming out of her shell and coming out of her slump, right? Maybe the rest of the album is kind of the upswing that we're about to see. I don't know. Maybe she just needs some drugs. This is Dealer.
Please don't try to find me through my dealer.
Who is that?
He won't pick up his phone.
Miles Kane. Shut up.
I can sleep.
Why can't you be good for something? Not one share of you.
Please don't try to find me through my dealer. He won't pick up his phone. Please don't try my doctor either.
I reckon I was lame. I gave you all my money, gave you all my money, gave you all my money, gave you all my money. I don't wanna live. I don't wanna give you nothing. 'Cause you never give me nothing back. Are busy. Goodbye. All circuits are
Please
busy.
don't try my
You're high. All circuits are busy. Goodbye. All circuits are busy. You're high.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why are the best ones about drugs? Still better than Korn. Did you not like this? Oh no, this was fantastic. I don't know why your best songs are about drugs. This one is so fucking good. I mean, the low down kind of beat was great. Very soulful voice coming from Miles Kane here. The perfect pairing. And then Lana's vocal delivery, just like screaming. And I hear through the vocals, I think we're finally getting a more apparent manifestation of some of the anguish and sadness that she's kind of going through as she really turns it up in a way that I don't think we've really heard from Lana before. And then this back and forth at the end between the two vocals. And then also like peeling into the lyrics, right? Please don't try to find my dealer. Please don't try my doctor either. Okay, so I love the idea of somebody trying to get back with Lana and going through the dealer, right? It's back when people had dealers. I don't have a dealer anymore because cannabis is legal here. I don't really take any other drugs, but back in the day, right? You had a dealer, right? And if you had a circle of people that all kind of knew each other, maybe you have the same dealer, right? Don't try to find me through him. Don't try to find me through my doctor. Both a doctor, a drug dealer, a spirit healer are all people that can help you out. Maybe drugs aren't the best, but hey, they might give you a Band-Aid. But that's just to say, don't find me through my dealer because he's not picking up his phone. Please don't try to find my doctor. He won't take any calls. It's like, don't try to find me through these people because I can't get their help either. Like, oh God. I loved this song. This is one of my favorite Lana Del Rey songs. This album reaction was worth it for this song and this song alone. I mean, I think this is some of the tightest songwriting she's had in any of her albums. And thinking that it was going to be a downward slope from Norman fucking Rockwell, that's just completely erroneous because this one was a fucking home run. This one was really, really good. Blue Banisters is so underrated. Well, you know what? There's some people in my life that are like hardcore Lana Del Rey fans, and I don't see them too much, but they know I do this, and they're like, oh my God, I watched your video, I watched this. When are you gonna do Blue Banisters? Like the last time I saw this one person, that's what they said. They're like, when are you gonna do Blue Banisters? I go, well, it's coming up at some point, and I'd like to do it sooner rather than later. And they were like, yeah, it's one of my favorites. And I don't know if they're engaging with it the same way that I'm engaging with it. I know I do it a little bit differently. Not everybody's reading along with the lyrics as I tend to do. And I know that might not be apparent for you watching the video. This is a little bit different. I do have the lyrics up here on my end. So maybe it's a little bit harder for you to follow along. Whether or not my word is good for anything is besides the point. But this one was a slam dunk. This song was fantastic, especially considering that she's giving all these little tidbits and they're like, I'm not doing great. I'm not doing too hot. Fuck this dude. Fuck that dude. And here it's a way more apparent manifestation of all of the things she's going through, and she can't find any help. So fuck the dude trying to get a hold of her through all these people, because she can't get a hold of them either. She can't even get the help. God, that's... The real gag is that it's an upward slope. Yeah, absolutely love this one. I don't even want to listen to the rest of the album. Like, I don't want the rest of this album to tarnish Dealer. See, this is what a white woman will do to you. This is a cautionary tale.
You roll like thunder when you come crashing in. Down ain't been the same.
That's not what I said.
You left with all your friends. You roll like thunder when you just do it. Just do it, don't wait. Just do it. Just do it, don't wait. You roll like thunder, pouring all your drinks. The party's lit and you, my friend, half cut when it begins. Just do it. Just do it, don't wait. If hello just means goodbye, then honey, better walk away. Just do it. Just do it, don't wait. If you're on fire, you're on fire. You should just keep burning.
See, I knew it was going to be a downward slope because it's not better than Dealer, but I don't think I think I kind of just got myself high off of Dealer. This one wasn't bad. I think the peaking vocals were back here on this one, and they didn't hit me as much as they did in Beautiful, where I thought that worked really well with the theming of the song and the lyrics. Here, it was a little out of place for me. The background vocals were fantastic. The composition's very simple. And it's quite an optimistic track, so maybe we're kind of getting into another phase of the album. I guess we'll see. Just like, don't do it. Or just do it, don't wait. You know, this is just Lana Del Rey's version of Jump by Van Halen, right? Just jump. Just go ahead and do it. Why waste another minute thinking about it when you can just do it?
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!
Yeah, this one was perfectly fine. But nevertheless, folks, let us continue to Wildflower Wildfire.
Is all lie down like a bed of wildflowers, and I'll always make the sheets smell like gardenias wild at your feet, and I nourish you hazily, baby. Coffee, I'm better with you. It's strange, but it's true. darling. Not to turn into a wildfire, to light up your night with only my smile, nothing that burns. Baby, I'll be like a wildflower. I live on sheer willpower. I'll do my best never to die. Here's the deal. You say there's gaps to fill in, so here's the deal. My father never stepped in when his wife would rage at
Maybe she's
me.
got mod.
Comfortably numb, but with lithium came poetry, and baby, I've been running on Star Trek by feet for so long, I wouldn't know how cruel the world was. Hot fire, hot weather, hot coffee, I'm better, so I turn, but I learn not to turn into a wildfire, to light up your night with us like it is baby boys. Burn, burn, it's you who I learn. It's you.
And that was Wildflower Wildfire. And I think this, I mean, if it wasn't cemented before, this is obviously a deeply personal album, just in terms of how she's really expressing her, downtrodden feelings. But, there's this line here. My father never stepped in when his wife would rage at me, so I ended up awkward but sweet. Later than hospital, still stand on my feet, comfortably numb. With lithium came poetry. So, I made the comment earlier, multiple comments about daddy issues. People are like, oh, yeah, daddy issues. But maybe some mommy issues. And we got SeaWorld Orlando, which is a phenomenal username, saying her mother isn't in her life. So, wow, okay, that kind of changes the whole dynamic of what I was kind of looking at. And again, folks, I really do try to make these reactions as valid as possible, as new and as fresh as can be, because you don't necessarily know the whole backstory of an artist the first time you listen to a song by them. I really do try to let the art speak for itself first and foremost whenever I can. So if I ever say anything out of pocket, just know that it's out of ignorance and not malice. Oh, he's not mean. He's just dumb. Mom sent her to an institution. Okay, so I know that she got sent away, but I didn't know if that was like a her mom thing. So obviously, maybe she got treated with some lithium, which I don't know all of the mental disabilities and illnesses that are treated with lithium, but I know like schizophrenia is one. I don't think she's schizophrenic, but that's like, that's a mental thing. I know that lithium's usually treated from that. I did like some of the production elements here, like towards the end, kind of like distorted percussion, which then, kind of got sandwiched in between more peaking vocals. And I know I didn't like the peaking vocals in Thunder, but I gotta say this just because I kind of figured it out. If I liked the peaking vocals so much in Beautiful, and I think how that kind of added to the whole theming of it, like, oh, being sad can be beautiful. You can find beauty in sad or bad things. Voice sounds nice, but then the production's kind of muddy and it sounds peaky. So I think that was intentional there. And with Thunder being a little bit more optimistic, you still, maybe that's an idea of like how you can still have all of that baggage, but still try to find your way forward, to try and improve, to try and get past the more sour aspects of whatever situation you're in. And I think that's extended here in Wildflower. It says, is this... There's a grief going on, and I only say grief because there's stages of grief. There's denial, there's anger, and in this song we're talking about here's the deal. Is this bargaining? Because this seems like it's she's kind of back on track here a little bit, but it has to kind of be on her terms, or if it's not on her terms, she's kind of willing to compromise. That's what I'm getting out of it. And whether I'm talking out of my ass or not, I think is a moot point, because this is what I look for in a reaction. Give me places to go. Give me some things to latch on to. And that's what I'm getting out of this record. Nectar of the Gods.
What grew, what is this nectar of the gods? I'll call you up twice, hang up the phone, call again, I wanna talk. I get wild on you, baby. I get wild and fucking crazy like you never knew. School kid dreams came true, then passed in the night. I used to dream about people like you, now I don't know why. I used to sing about people like you, now I just get high. Ooh, ooh. I get wild on you, baby. I get wild, fucking crazy like you never knew. Ooh, ooh. California, homeland of the gods. Once I found my way, but now I am lost.
This is just kind of a run-of-the-mill Lana Del Rey song for me. I mean, great vocal performance. Talking about getting wild on somebody, right? You can only imagine what she means by that. Talking about California. Mentions a color. I feel like she's been doing that even before this album, but it's like extra apparent here just because it's about the color blue. Not a ton else that I'm really grabbing from this one. Does she do heroin? Or is that all metaphorical just for the sake of art? I don't know. If she does do heroin, she wears it extremely well. You know, I once saw a YouTube video about a guy who said he was a functioning heroin addict. He goes, yeah, I've been using it for like 15 years, like every day. And I like go to work and I just kind of get high. But I'm an addict and it ruins my life. But you know, I still have like a job and shit. But you look at him and you go, man, you look like you do heroin every day. Not as like rough as somebody who's like losing their jobs. I think if there was an Olympic sport for doing heroin and Lana did it, she'd win gold. Like, I'm talking like Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps numbers that she's pulling in the Olympics. She does. Am I wrong? Oh, okay. So this was like an old one that she kind of repurposed for this then? Wait, we're moving on. Living Legend.
Blackbirds will sing in the same key. Baby, you, all the things you do and the ways you move send me straight to heaven. Baby, you, what you never knew, what I never said, is you're my living legend. But you never cared about my name, and darling, I never meant to defy you. But baby, you, all them things you do and those ways you moved. I got guns in the summertime and horses too. Guns in the summertime and horses too. I never meant to be bad or unwell. All the things you do and the ways you move send me straight to heaven. And baby, you, what I never said to you is you really are my living legend. My living legend. My living legend. My living legend.
Really appreciated the slow burn up to that. It probably sounded like a guitar solo to you, and I don't doubt that a guitar was used with that. It sounded like she was talking out of a talk box or singing out of a talk box. So that's like the if you ever see like guitarists live, you know, they'll put like the tube in their mouth and they'll go like wow 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 wow. Right. Joe Walsh used to use it a lot. There's plenty of examples of it all over rock and roll. Considering how they've been producing the vocals, though, I can't imagine they did use a talk box. It sounded a little too clean. So as I'm reading the lyrics, it's why, and it sounds like that wah wah kind of effect that you can get really, really well out of a talk box. That's why I want to say talk box, but I'm thinking they just did that in post because they're giving us, like, they change up the vocals. I don't know how they're doing or what they're doing it. Is that a low end filter or something like that where they make it sound like it's coming through like a radio or something? That's what it gave me. Other than that, I kind of just like the phrase Brooklyn Bayou. Like the whole of New York City is just a fucking swamp. And there's also other references, I guess, to water, I guess, about my songs, but she knows I'm a monsoon. Yeah, this one's a little bit perplexing lyric-wise. Not picking a ton up, but the ride itself from the song, from the productions, from the composition, I dig it. Talk about using your voice as an instrument. Exactly. Yeah, because it gives guitar solo right there. But that's definitely her voice. And at least it's a little bit confusing for me. So it's weird because she's not known for many, like, production things. You know, she's not singing on top of, like, insane production. But the little bits that we're getting in this album, I really do appreciate. It's really keeping me on my toes. But we'll move on. Penultimate song, Cherry Blossom.
What you don't tell no one, you can tell me. Little ghost all tan like milk and honey. You're very brave and very free. I push you high, cherry blossom on your sycamore tree. Dandelions in your hair, baby. You're very brave, and there's much to see. And when you're scared, I'll be right here. You feel afraid, Mommy is there. We've got to share what you don't tell no one, you can tell me. Little ghost blonde hair with lemonade tea. There's much to learn. You don't tell no one, you can tell me.
So that was Cherry Blossom, and I'm picking up from here in the chat that there's more unreleased stuff. This is just more unreleased stuff. And I guess like in terms of how it's keeping my attention, definitely the back half's a little bit softer for me than everything we heard before it. I'll wait to say certain things, but it's like it is not bad. It's not bad. You know, there could be so many interpretations of what a sycamore tree means in poetry. You know, maybe this is like some like really weird Walt Whitman poem that she read in like a book of like, hey, here's a bunch of like weirder Walt Whitman poems. And then she's reading it. She goes, "Oh, I like this one about the sycamore." I have no idea. I have no idea what the fuck any of this is about. And just like knowing that it's like previously unreleased, that she put it on the album, definitely takes me out of some of the more overarching themes a little bit. You know, I'm not trying to connect as many dots here with this song, or even really Living Legend, or a lot of the songs here on the second half of this album. Not say that it's bad, but it's not infecting the heart of the bees as much as everything before it. All right, so we will move on. We got Sweet Carolina, which I thought was going to be a cover of Sweet Caroline. I was going to be real pissed off because that's how she likes to end some of her albums. But no, this is Sweet Carolina. And I'm told here that this was for her sister who had a little bit of postpartum depression. Never easy. I'll never know, but I can only imagine. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The last song off of Blue Banisters. This is Sweet Carolina.
Okay. Don't have to write me a letter, 'cause I'll always be right here, closer to you than your next breath, my dear. We love every hair on your head, love you like God loves you. And you say that you're scared, my baby, unprepared for having the baby blues. Baby blues, baby blues.
Calling postpartum depression baby blues is crazy.
If things ever go wrong, just know this is your song and we love you. You name your babe like heaven after your iPhone 11. Crypto forever screams your stupid boyfriend Fuck you, Kevin. We love every freckle you have. Baby blues. If things ever go wrong, just know this is your song, and we love you.
This is really endearing. I really do like this.
If you get the blues, baby blues, just know this is your song. It'll live on and on, way past me and you. You got us, we've got you, so there's nothing to lose, and we love you. So don't write me a letter, I'll always be right here, closer to you than your next breath, my dear.
Very nice. Very nice. Very, 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 very strong ending to this one. This one was incredibly endearing. And also, like, when you're thinking about the fact that this is about a family member, you can tend to be a little bit more informal with your family, and I think that comes through here in the lyrics a little bit. You name your babe Lilac Heaven after your iPhone 11. Crypto forever screams your stupid boyfriend. Fuck you, Kevin. That's just funny, right? I like that. And this song necessarily isn't for us, right? Sure, it's on the album. We get to engage with it as fans, but this is for her sister. And I like how she didn't really change the lyrics here, seemingly. You know, maybe there's other references here. Pink slippers all on the floor, woven nets all over your door. You get it. And also, it works so well with a lot of the other blue theming that we've had in the album, considering that this is baby blues, right? And also, shout out Mr. Del Rey, Mr. Grant, considering that he was on the pianos here. So say goodbye to those daddy issues. I guess that kind of ties that whole thread up pretty well, actually. Yeah, I thought this was a very strong ending, considering that I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of some of the other tracks here on the back end of this. So this was Blue Banisters by Lana Del Rey. Like I said, I know it's been a long time since we did a Lana Del Rey album, and a lot of people wanted me to do this one. I largely loved this album. Largely. I think this is some of Lana's tightest songwriting, and any negative critiques on the production that I think people had are shallow-minded fools who hate themselves. I thought the vocal peaking went a long way in terms of some of the theming that was going on, in terms of how it was used in Beautiful especially. Just to say that, like, oh, if I'm sad, that's obviously bad, but no, it's actually, Picasso had his blue period, right? And we got so much beauty out of that, and how you can kind of turn that on its head to the audible side. And that kind of plays into it too, where it's like, you don't need crystal clear production all the time to find beauty in something, which is something we talk about a lot here. And I didn't initially like it in Thunder, but I think considering that Thunder is a little bit more optimistic and we're still having those vocal peakings, I think there's a thread you can tie between the two. Dealer being one of my all-time favorite Lana Del Rey songs on first listen. It was just truly exceptional. I think her wordplay in this was crazy. The use of the double entendres and metaphors came through to me a lot easier than maybe they have in other Lana Del Rey albums. I guess this was a little bit less person heavy in terms of each song maybe being about whoever she's in love with or having an issue with. This was a deeply introspective, personal album. It was way more about how she was feeling when she was feeling it. I know maybe I rolled my eyes over some of the COVID references, and that's just more of a me problem. I think I just don't want to think about that time. But that is to say that we all lived through it. So we all got some feelings about it. And here's Lana trying to transcend her experience into art. And this is what we got out of it. You know, I know that Lana, she doesn't overshare. But I know that we've gotten very, maybe graphic peeks into Lana's life before. But here they just met me so well to where, I mean, Sweet Carolina is just such a darling track. I was kind of getting in my feels a little bit. Outside of that, I thought the production was quite good, and it was minimal as well. We're doing some of the vocal peakings, some of the wah-wahs that we were hearing. The horns were recorded and mixed so well when we found them, when they decided to come out. I felt like we got little bits and pieces from different eras of Lana, whether it be more country western kinds of stuff to some of the orchestral stuff kind of peeked its head in here and there. Interlude, the trio, what the fuck was that? Fine, cool. I will say, I think from Wildflower Wildfire to Cherry Blossom, I think it's 3 out of those 4, or maybe 4 out of those 4 that were repurposed from Ultraviolence. Were kind of left on the cutting room floor during those sessions. I could do without these. I'll be honest with you. If we could get tracks 1 to 10 and then Sweet Carolina, that's a good album. And I think that would put us at about 45 minutes even, and just shy of an hour. So I think it asked a little bit more than was necessary, but Lana felt that those songs needed to be on the record. The horns on Arcadia did go crazy. So that's all to say that I think overall this was a really, really good album. And again, I thought that this was all going to be a downward slope after NFR, but that has not been the case. I'd even say that this was stronger than Chemtrails. Even then, I would still take out Wildflower, Wildfire, Nectar of the Gods, Living Legends, and Cherry Blossom probably. And I think you'd have a more edible record on the whole. But tracks 1 through 10, in my opinion, just did not miss. Kept me engaged, whether it be through her songwriting, some of the production, whatever the fuck Interlude was. And it just feels so good that we're finally catching up on Lana Del Rey. I think she just needed to blow off some steam, methinks. Oh, hell yes. And I don't want this to be an aside. I think this is probably Lana's most intimate record, dare I say that. I don't peel into all the Lana albums probably as much as I should. So that is to say that we've listened to a lot. Maybe I've forgotten some aspects to it. And it might not even be your most personal, but just she wrote these songs in a way that I related to, that I picked up on a lot, and maybe makes it personal for me. We talk about, some of the songwriting in Black Bathing Suit that I really liked. It carries on the theming with Colors, which has happened before, but was very apparent in this album. But this idea of things that fit me. People might not fit you, but you know what? If I'm losing people, if this is COVID and I don't have people around me, I don't know where I fit in. I don't know where people fit in with me, but at least this bathing suit fits me. And I like that idea of appreciating the little things, especially when you are feeling down. And I think those ideas came through really, really, really well in this album. NFR really marked a shift in her career, in my opinion, ever since, I would even say that the light bulb went off, because I think back to me being so impressed with Paradise, or how she was produced during Ultraviolence. I really do think Dan Auerbach deserves way more credit of being one of Lana's best producers. Remind me who produced this once again? Something or another? Drew Erickson. a tip of the cap to you, sir. I think you did a stellar job on this. I don't know if I want to hear the vocal peaking again outside of this album. I would like it to just be this album that gives this album character in a way that doesn't give any of her other albums character. I don't know if that makes Lana the vocal peaking person after this, if it continues on. But yeah, no, I really like this, and I am ashamed that it took me so long to listen to this with how much I jived with it. How many more do we have? Do we have one more Lana album? Oh my god. So that was my reaction to Lana Del Rey's Blue Banisters. Again, I feel bad that it took me so long to get to this just because it was fucking good, but because we've been on this Lana journey for so long. If you've stuck around since the beginning, thank you so much. If this is your first time watching me react to Lana Del Rey, I have a ton of other videos. Go check that out, and be sure to subscribe to the channel or for free on my Patreon to see when I'm going live next, because we only have one more Lana Del Rey album in existence to listen to as of the time of this recording. So if you liked the video, go ahead and like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it and tell me why in the comments. But if you want to see more of these reactions, go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube right here. That sounded like shit, so I'm going to do that again. If you want to see more of these reactions uncut before they come out on YouTube, go ahead and check out my Patreon. You can get exactly that for $1. I am starting to produce more commentary videos, so there's some other tiers for that. You'll get those before they come out on YouTube. And again, stick around. We got one more Lana Del Rey album, ladies and gentlemen. The journey is almost over. The Jerry B's wrap-up tier list video is imminent. But with all that said, I've been Jerry B's. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog. Breaking.